Hi, my name is Sidharth Kamat. I'm a senior consultant at the KPMG Decarb Hub sitting out of the Paris office. I graduated in 2023 from ESSEC Business School in the La Défense campus here in Paris as well. Prior to ESSEC, I was a senior consultant and a lawyer for international trade and economics, first with a law firm and then with Ernst & Young India. The whole idea with doing an MBA for me was to be able to use the information and the experiences and the skills that I'd picked up in the past, but use it for something to have a better impact on society and business. The easiest way for that for me, having had so much experience with business, was the fact that strategy was very important and how companies look at sustainable strategy was very important. And for that, I needed the strategy skills that an MBA gives you. And ESSEC offered that perfect balance between strategy, business, operations, with an overarching framework of sustainability built right in. And it was the best course I could have picked for my goals and my dreams. ESSEC was perfect in the sense of how the course was very much structured around sustainability and strategy. And at the same time, it was very, very bespoke. We could pick and choose exactly what we wanted to study while also learning the operations and business of a general business school structure. At the same time, it was also a small cohort, which meant that I had greater access to all the professors, all their insights, and all the career-specific things that come with an MBA. So, in that sense, ESSEC was perfect in how it gave me exactly what I was looking for with an MBA, which was just slightly beyond what a generic MBA usually does, which is, right, you've learned operations, you've learned finance, you've learned strategy, but how do I connect all of that to sustainability? How does that define how I end up working on a regular basis or a daily basis? That was very clear from day one, and it was very well orchestrated to suit your goals. And I think that was really the selling point for me. And all of this was done with a very, very small cohort. So if there was something that I wanted to do deep dive in, I was a phone call away from any professor or any of the experts that came in during our MBA. I think I'd like to shout out Professor Sluss, of course. Professor Sluss is the academic director at ESSEC for the MBA. He's a truly inspirational man. He really understands what the young folks, as he calls us, really are talking about and what we are expecting from an MBA. And of course, Professor Puyan Kashabi, who was the strategy professor, he really opened up my mind to think differently, and he approached strategy with a very case-oriented structure, which really helped me kind of bring myself away from the more academic side of being a lawyer and being a consultant for international trade. So these two professors really taught me how to think rather than what strategy is or what operations is. And that's truly been something that I've taken home with me and taken to KPMG today. The student network at ESSEC is definitely extremely wide. I had great opportunities to talk to people who are legacy alumni from ESSEC. Some of them I would have not been able to reach out to on LinkedIn or just by cold emailing, if not for the ESSEC network. That really works in your favor when you have a legacy school like ESSEC on your CV or on your LinkedIn profile. That definitely opened up a lot of doors for me, as well as the ESSEC team itself helps you connect with a lot of the alumni which they think would be relevant for your background and for your goals. Streamlining that along with your career center manager is extremely, extremely useful. I was able to talk to people who had very similar backgrounds as me, and that really helped me land the job that I wanted and get that exact role that I was looking for. So 100%, the ESSEC student network, alumni network is extremely useful, extremely active, and there's a lot of bonhomie between us. Maybe it's something that's very specific to me and my personality, but lawyers tend to be extremely cynical when approaching a new problem or an opportunity. I myself am having trouble right now differentiating if it's a problem or an opportunity when I see a new when I have a new subject to discuss, or if there's a new project that's coming up. That I think is really something that changed in how I approach problems. That's a real mindset change from before ESSEC and after. So I might not have a specific example to give you, or rather I might be stuck under some confidentiality clauses, but the way I approach these problems and how I look at the challenges now has completely changed. When I was a lawyer, when it was more what can go wrong and how can we prevent it. And now it's a lot more strategic, saying, okay, this is an obstacle, or this is the context that we're working in. How can I get the best out of it? How do I get the best amount of impact and the right quality of impact? I think this is how my thought process has changed massively from before ESSEC, after ESSEC, and now working in sustainability. The GMBA really gave me something that I was truly missing from my profile, which was access to a wider school of thought. Primarily because lawyers tend to think in a certain structure, in a certain way, because that's how law schools are. Law schools are slightly older in their pedagogy. But ESSEC really made me realize that there's multiple ways of approaching business, there's multiple ways of approaching sustainability. That essentially is what strategy is, being adaptable, being able to think differently. That's definitely something that I've brought to KPMG today, and I think my colleagues appreciate that slight mindset change from what I was doing before and what I do now. And of course, the whole idea of being so much more open to how cultures affect business, how different people and different work ethics and different perspectives affect business, strategy, sustainability. That's definitely something that I learned from the diverse cohort that we had, the wide range of subjects that we studied at ESSEC, as well as all the exposure that we got through our field trips, through the projects that we did, with the group dynamics that we had to manage when we were as students. I've definitely brought all those skills to my current job, and it's really made a big difference for me, especially considering I was in consulting before and I am in consulting now. I can see that clear difference and the clear upskill that I have with especially my people management skills and my thought process from before ESSEC and now after ESSEC. My entire field has actually changed massively. I no longer call myself a lawyer. But you can never get rid of the lawyer tag. But I'm no longer a lawyer. I'm more of a strategy consultant now. I build solutions, I build strategies, I build decarbonization pathways for my clients. There is always going to be a huge amount of regulations and policies that we work with, but that's mostly because in Europe specifically, regulation is a major driver of change. For me, it's always going to be about bringing my legal and regulatory background, using the skills that I picked up at ESSEC, and then applying them for the strategy and transformation work that I do today. That's something that I've really, really appreciated about my choice with ESSEC, because it's not that sustainability is a completely separate subject. There's no one semester that is closed off just for sustainability subjects. Everything that you study has an element of sustainability in it. When we studied cases under strategy, we did talk about how Schneider changed its operations to be more sustainable, or how we looked at the motor vehicle industry going towards being more electrified and being greener in its operations. Be it marketing, we had a huge amount of how sustainable marketing is a big deal. When it came to finance, we studied green finance as part of the global finance course. So it's not that ESSEC hives off sustainability as a separate subject. It's a part and parcel of your experience at ESSEC. And that really changes how you look at business. Can we do business better than what we've been telling people they have to do for years? And it's subtle in its own way, and it's forceful in its own way. It really brings that element of there is no other way of doing business if you aren't sustainable. And that's something that I really appreciate, and I really believe that. And I'm really glad that Professor Sluss and the team at ESSEC have really put that into the DNA of the pedagogy at ESSEC. And I think that's definitely how the future of MBA education should be. I essentially chose Paris for two reasons. One is, of course, on a personal level, my wife is French. And the second reason is that I wanted to live in a city that was truly international and global. The best combination of the two personal and professional reasons was Paris. And it also was a very specific choice to go to ESSEC in Paris because a lot of the other business schools were out in the countryside where it would be pretty much boring to live in. And of course, the access to all the companies that I wanted to work with, that was definitely a big choice. And of course, Paris is beautiful. Essentially, that's why Paris and ESSEC were such a great choice for me. It worked on both levels of it being professionally easy as well as personally works very well for me. The one truly surprising thing about how ESSEC runs the MBA is how you really are in a group of like-minded people. Some of my closest friends today come from my cohort at ESSEC. That was truly surprising because my past experiences with higher education has been slightly different. We were larger cohorts, much more dispersed. Whereas here in ESSEC, everyone knows everyone really, really well because it's a small cohort. Everyone knows what their goals are, what their dreams are, what their background is, what they want to achieve. And that really helps you kind of build a more holistic approach to your career search for your personal development. It teaches you so much about interpersonal skills way beyond what you would get in a more classical MBA. I think that's definitely something that surprised me because I was maybe expecting a little more academic, a lot more formal. But this was truly like I was sitting with a bunch of my friends arguing about whose strategy makes most sense. And that truly helps me with what I do today because it really helps me be more convincing at work. It helps me be more, take on more leadership roles if need be, and also teaches me very well how to be a part of a larger team and contribute effectively and, just be a nice person to work with. The one truly important thing to know about ESSEC is that they're very, very invested in your future. They're very invested into how you develop, how you grow. They truly spend time in getting to know you. They put the effort into making the course and your experience at ESSEC truly useful and special and something that will truly add value to your future and to your goals and to your career. And I think that's very, very important. And that's something that I saw was starkly different from what my experience was with other schools or with my friends who went to other schools. And I'm truly grateful to ESSEC, and I'm very glad that I made that choice a couple of years ago. And I hope anyone who watches this video will make that same choice and has very similar experiences as my really good experiences.